Class is now in session. I am Professor Hockey, and today we'll be discussing some interesting bit of news as the San Jose Sharks have announced that they have signed Patrick Marleau to a one-year deal worth $700,000. So Marleau does return home to San Jose. He played close to 2 decades with the Sharks before he left for a couple years to the Toronto Maple Leafs. They traded him to the Hurricanes. He was bought out by the Hurricanes, and it was announced in around August that Doug Wilson would not re-sign, or he would not sign Patrick Marleau because he felt like there would be some good competition in the Sharks system, that he wanted to fill the spots left by Pavelski and Donskoy and Nyquist organically. But potentially after having watched the training camp, the preseason, the first 3 games of the regular season, he sees that maybe there isn't that much competition in the Sharks system, as players who were potentially expected to compete for a spot with the Sharks, like Chekovich, like Chmelevski, Blichfeld, didn't really pan out. Players like Yurtakin and Brodzinski, while they've looked decent, haven't really, exploded and looked solid enough to play a consistent second or third line role. So it seems as though Patrick Marleau is a fallback here for the San Jose Sharks. So I know when Doug Wilson did announce this, I was pretty happy the Sharks wouldn't sign him. But again, also having seen how this start of the season has gone, it seems as though Patrick Marleau is necessary in this situation. Now, I suspect Marleau will not touch the first line. It'll likely end up being Meyer, Couture, and LeBanc, but he may get a chance on the second line with Hertl and Kane. Marleau does still have some speed to his game, and so while it's certainly nowhere near where it was at, 5 years ago, let's just say, he is still a pretty serviceable winger, I would say. If he doesn't end up with the second line of Hertl and Kane, I suspect he'll likely make it to the third line. I don't think he'll get fourth line time necessarily, unless maybe he ends up with something like Goodrow, Bergman, and himself, and Carlson plays the third line. But we might see Marleau, Thornton, and Sorensen when Sorensen returns from his injury. We didn't see a lot of Thornton and Marleau on the same line in the last few years of San Jose, but maybe this is something that we're actually going to get. But I suspect Marleau ends up on the second or third line, and then whichever line he isn't on will likely have one of Yurtakin or Brodzinski or Gambrell. And so with Bergman on the fourth line, once the Sharks do get fully healthy, there will only be a couple of new faces on the Sharks forward lines because of Patrick Marleau's arrival. And so whether you like that or not, if you told me this a month and a half ago, I would say I would have rathered see a few more rookies. But after having seen the start of the season, it seems as though Patrick Marleau is going to add a nice little dimension to the Sharks, and maybe he will actually have a bit more to play for now that he is back to San Jose instead of being on Toronto. Class dismissed.